Dumpster Fire. My name is Daniel, and I am the host of this new podcast slash YouTube channel. So, I just wanted to give you an introduction about myself. My name is Daniel, and I am a drummer. You're probably like, why is there a drum set behind you? I am a drummer, and I'm a podcaster for a drumming podcast, the Drumheads podcast. But I wanted to do a podcast slash show about topics that I can't discuss on the podcast, like politics, news, pop culture, topics that some people get polarized by. So I kind of like leave the drums to the drumming podcast. So I'm like, well, I'm going to start my own podcast. So what this show is going to be about is going to be about several things. It's going to be a millennial perspective on topics such as politics, war, crime, the corruption in politics, healthcare, sex, religion, all those wonderful topics that people just love to talk about, especially at family functions. So it's going to be from the perspective of someone who's a millennial. What makes me a little bit different is I'm toward the older side of the millennials. 34, so I was born in 1984, and some millennials, are still in their 20s. So, with all that said, I'm going to view things from certain aspects. I'm going to view from like a millennial side for sure, and there's going to be other things I'm going to view from more of like a Generation X kind of side, because I fall in between both sides. I feel I identify more with the Gen Xers than I do millennials, and there's sometimes that I identify with millennials, and I don't know, so I just wanted to start the show and just talk about things. So, and why I came up with this name, the Millennial Dumpster Fire, is I always hear from comics and just people in life, they'll be describing a movie or something that happened, like, oh, that was such a dumpster fire, and it's always made me laugh, because, when you see when you visualize a dumpster fire, it's like big, it's like just out of control, crazy, and it's a good way to describe something that's horrible. And so I've always liked that, and but I wanted to add the millennial part to it, because millennials tend to get they get a little they get a little shat on by the mainstream culture. That's not even say media, just culture. There's like these preconceived notions about millennials. They do X, Y, and Z. Sometimes they do X, sometimes they may not do Y, but they definitely do Z, kind of thing. So that's the perspective I'm going to come at it from. So with all that's going on in politics, sometimes millennials don't get heard, or when they do, it's in a negative light. So this is just going to be my point of view. And like I said, 34, I have 4 kids, married. I live in the South, so I have a different point of view on things, but I'm progressive. I consider myself a, very progressive or liberal person, so that's what this podcast and show, and I'm just going to say show, because it's going to be more than just a podcast. It's going to be, obviously, a video. So podcast is, there's some video podcasts, not that many, but anyways. But there's gonna be tangents just like that, so be warned, you have been part of a tangent. So, but I just wanted to introduce myself, say hi, and just tell you what the show's gonna be about. So I'm gonna try to do these